Welcome to the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast, where we dive into inspiring stories, thrilling adventures, and expert insights from leaders and legends across the outdoor adventure community. Whether you're an avid hiker, passionate camper, or adventure traveler, each episode brings you up close and personal with guests who've lived it, explored it, and made it their mission to share their experiences with you. Let's get after it. Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm joined by John Salzinger. John has been on the show a few times, and today we're excited to talk about what he's been up to and a new venture in lighting. Welcome back to the show, John.
Great to be back, Rick. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to talk with you again. I haven't seen you in person in quite a while. I don't do shows much anymore, so...
I'm luckier. Yeah.
Yeah, I consider that lucky. Yeah. So let's start with the beginning, way back in the beginning. What sparked that idea for the B Corp you founded, and what problem were you most determined to solve?
Yeah. So for purpose, for profit, for good, we wanted to ensure that we could create a CPG company that was able to serve all people with the products that we made. So 25 patents in,
Wow.
Solar lanterns, flashlights, chargers that are portable, environmentally friendly, and had a bit of a wow factor. Those what we made were actually inflatable.
Yeah, they were pretty. I remember that first show when you guys came out. They were like almost the talk of the show. I was like, wow, did you see those things over there? Man, they're cool. I still use them today, actually.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they did last. So far away from single-use plastics, but just sort of a tool for humans all over the world to be able to uplift themselves. We wanted it to be simple, clean, but also powerful. And at the time, and we were talking about 14 years ago,
Yeah,
when
well
we launched, we ended the company into an exit, but it was 5 million lives impacted, 4 million tons of CO2 averted.
Wow.
700 NGO relationships. We were in 93 countries, everyone from Walmart and retail to REI. And retail was important because, that for purpose, we were, for profit. So we had margins that were dealable in retail. And that enabled us to reduce the margins to get those lights and power banks to people that needed them at localized pricing. So we reduced for all of our impact sales. And we had, NGOs procuring, but we also had corporations procuring for NGOs and GIK in kind. And it really proved out the efficacy of the units, right?
Yeah.
And so then when we were in the outdoor industry, your light's going to work in Yosemite.
Or your campground, wherever it is, your backyard. Exactly, right.
Yeah. And so heartwarming stories, tons of beautiful relationships, just a very exciting journey, and the ability to not make a choice between profit and purpose, right?
Yeah.
To make an engine for purpose was really exciting, but still be a capitalist company.
What was the moment in those early days when you realized that this could truly scale worldwide?
I think it was pretty early. I think our first NGO might have been Save the Children. Our first retailer was Amazon. And we started, and our first trade show was CES. And it was like 10 deep and 10 wide, 100 people in front of me for like 3 days. I had no voice at the end of the show. But people were coming up because everything else at CES at the time, it was really interesting, innovative electronic tech.
Yeah.
Didn't have the for good purpose element. That really attracted people and realized right away. And then in speaking of buyers at retail, we caught the beginning of that swell, which has now turned into a wave, right? Of people wanting to vote with their purchases. You have two things you can buy. One is a company that's doing great. It makes you feel better. You're sort of contributing to society, environment. Why not? Why not better the planet while you're purchasing something for yourself? And that's what we offered. And so pretty early on, we had a phenomenal response to the launches.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Every sector,
Yeah. What were some of the biggest hurdles you faced scaling that kind of global impact? I mean, when you hit the positive, the ground so, popularity or people recognize the opportunity early.
Yeah.
And in that stage, most businesses don't have the manufacturing side. They're just kind of like small production runs and things like that. That must have been challenging.
Yeah. I mean, we were a startup
Yeah.
and we hit every challenge possible. We had a lot of hands in the pot. We had a lot of investors, small investors, angel investors that were phenomenal and appreciated. And then we went to venture and then private equity. There was a lot of people involved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the company was never over 25 people.
Oh, wow.
So the impact we did for that many people was enormous.
Incredible.
The burden was pretty tough because, you have all these people and a lot, to our investors' credit, a lot of our investors were impact investors. And so they were happy with the shareholder reports being focused on impact, but it's still a lot of responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we went through, I think the biggest hurdles for us were sort of environmental, no pun intended. So chip shortages, logistics issues, COVID. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was just, and then knockoffs and other brands and sort of that worst form of flattery where someone looks at your idea because we created the solar portable
Yeah.
light category.
Right.
And, people would just tweak one thing and it became, a race to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people started to make portable solar lights, a little different than ours, a little cheaper. And for me, that wasn't what it was about. It was about creating a wow factor that people would use to uplift themselves and create value.
Mm-hmm.
And so that race to the bottom hurt us, right? Because a lot of consumers, as much as they want to buy good products from good companies, also don't want to spend more than they have to.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot of control in advertising. And so people could say, I'm a million lumens,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
5 cents for the light or something. And there's not a lot of control anymore. So, that sort of thing, because there's so many different areas to sell, it's hard to patrol that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so those were some of the challenges we had. On top of that, there's some large companies out there, right, that also decided to jump into our space, really like
I
Fortune
remember that. Yeah.
500 companies. And,
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's flattering, but hard to compete with their budgets. Yeah.
Right. 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 Yeah. They had huge pockets. Yeah.
Yeah. I will add though, the people we worked with, our investors, our partners, our buyers, our NGO folks, our consumers, it takes a village. They're the ones that made us get where we could in terms of impact. And it was a collective effort
Yeah.
to do what we did.
And how did you build that trust and collaboration on such a wide scale? I mean, your team is you guys are just great people. I mean, working with you and talking with you guys as I did at trade shows and things, you just really get this sense that, hey, these are good guys, and support these guys. What else did you do?
Well, I think people on the team, at least, were at the company because of the impact.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 80% of the people we surveyed said they were there because of the impact. The other 20% were to uplift their career, which is totally reasonable.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But we were able to, we had good customer service. When you're small, you can sort of engage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we responded to every inquiry. And we got letters back. I mean, honestly,
I'll bet. Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think it all goes back to innovation and product. And when you have something that solves a problem for people, makes life easier, helps them, makes them feel safe, it sort of sells itself.
Yeah.
And so I think and the innovation around the product, the new category creation, just created growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to compete if you're creating like a new a deck of playing cards or something.
Yeah, in that category specifically too, because there's so many gadgets and widgets and cool things. And yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a useful, fun connection for people, I think.
Yeah.
And so they were able to use it for camping, but they could have also used it, when there was a hurricane coming.
Right. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Is there a personal story that stands out for you of someone whose life was changed by receiving one of those solar lights that's just kind of changed their world.
There's a ton.
There's probably a bunch of them, in some of those over
There's a ton.
countries.
But I like the fact we worked with a guy named Jaquil Jackson at Project I Am. He was a CNN hero. And when he was growing up, he told his parents, this was domestic in the U.S., why don't we help people that are homeless that we see on the street all the time? He grew up in the south side of Chicago. Great organization, very independent, but you should look him up. He's a really inspirational guy.
I'll check it out.
Not just a little kid anymore. But
None of us are.
And he was so little. I don't know. He was 10, something like that.
Oh, really? Wow.
Unbelievable when he started. And he gave out like tens of thousands of blessing bags, including our light. But the idea that this could address, or not address, but help those who are homeless, and that he was such an authentic, localized partner, those stories were really amazing. I felt.
Yeah.
And he was able to take our light and inspire tons of people with it. It wasn't always the light itself. It was what the light enabled to happen. So Storia internationally, Jamie Bechtel of a new course, she was an ex-Clinton Global Initiative person, and she worked in her new organization in Tanzania, Kenya, and handed out the lights and got really close to the elders. It was sort of an entrepreneurship program for the women in the communities. And she got so close with the elders that it broke up these two warring factions. They were both getting lights, and then all of a sudden they were doing business together. And all those colonialized lines that were drawn, we broke through that too. Wow. So there's so many stories. There's letters that came from elderly people that were stuck, and they said the light penned it, wrote a letter and said the light saved their life. But it's just on and on. Kids that cried because they were able to read and write at home without kerosene. The list goes on and on.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
But every one of those is a person, right? So when we say we impact 5 million lives, it's you can't really
get your head around that. That's such a big number. Yeah, you just can't get your head around it. Yeah.
Every one of those numbers is a story, right?
Yeah.
So that's very awesome. Proud of everyone on our team and what we were able to do.
Yeah, that's very cool. And your company earned a B Corp score of 140.5, which I don't know much about that, but it's pretty remarkable. What practices or values most contributed to hitting home at that level?
Yeah. So not my words, they called us a pioneer. I know there was also Ben and Jerry's and Patagonia before us, but bigger than us. But I took that as a real big compliment.
Yeah.
It was the integrated model. So a consumer could buy something and they were doing good right away. They were helping us localize pricing for people that needed it. And I think the way we told our stories and the way we shared. So here's a way to sort of think about it. A person buys a light, $50. A light goes to someone for $10, and that NGO now gets to talk about that. Then we talk about that on social, and now that NGO gets more folks that are aware of what they're doing, and they take our audience and maybe they're donating to the NGO, and it just becomes this beautiful cycle between nonprofit and the private sector.
Yeah.
And I think that model was revolutionary. And I think that model was primarily why we hit the scores we did. And it went up every year. By the end of it, remote, right? So, there was no carbon.
Right. Yeah.
In our office. And, anything we saved money on transportation for the team, better life for the team, better lifestyle. Yeah. Anything we could do, a lot of amicus briefs on environment. We were a small company, but like I say, we had a big impact. So there was a lot of different things that we stood up for that we felt were necessary from the private sector, which is needed today.
Yeah. So a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with balancing that profit and purpose. What advice do you give for anybody trying to build those mission-driven businesses and thrive financially? It's tough.
Yes, you or not, right? If you're actually solving a problem.
Well, true. Right. Yeah.
Then you can solve a problem for all people. So I live in New York. You don't have to just solve a problem for people on Park Avenue.
Right.
Like, so for me, it's about how wide is your problem solving, right? And that it doesn't matter if it's a product or a technology, but
Yeah.
and how accessible is it? And so that does two things. One, it gives you a bigger market, gives you a higher chance of success. And two, it's going to be more impactful because you'll reach a more diverse audience.
Yeah.
And diversity in terms of economics, right?
Everything. I mean, age, economics,
everything. Yeah, you name
location.
whatever people define themselves as,
Cover
but
the
you
whole
can
thing.
reach more human beings, right? Regardless of where they are, what circumstance, etc. And it's a great equalizer. So I would say it starts with the innovation, right? It starts with the problem and then the innovation. And if you can be honest with that, it's not hard these days with globalization and the internet to figure out how to get that solution to people. Now, the pricing can be challenging, right? So what we did at the time was we relied on developed world markets to serve underserved communities, localized pricing. But there's other ways to do it. You can also do it in terms of scale. As you scale, you widen the breadth of where you're going, the depth,
Right.
and you can then offer, lower prices. Now, you might have to take some hits on margin, but that to me is localizing pricing. That's just making your product affordable. It's just like selling in Japan versus Korea versus Germany. They're all going to be potentially different prices.
Yeah.
And even within country, sometimes it has to be, or within different retailers. Some demand different prices. And so if you can figure that out, then you should be able to figure out a grander scale model.
Yeah. Hey friends, quick break here. If you're a destination marketing leader and your region is packed with amazing outdoor adventures, I want to hear from you. Let's get you on the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast to share those stories with our audience. Hit me up at rick@ricksays.com and I'll send you all the deets. Let's inspire more folks to explore the wild side of your destination. But now, let's get back to the show. So then you transitioned to another chapter. That business was acquired and you've entered this new chapter. What excites you most about this next stage? You're getting to do it all over again.
Yeah, so I think I either got or failed an MBA in my first go around. And now it's a chance to take all those trips over the same branch or different branches and learnings and put them to work. I know what not to do. I know what to do. I know how to keep things really simple. But I also know that some of the mistakes I made were based on lack of capital, et cetera. And so what I wanted to do this time was, number one, self-fund. I didn't want to add pressure. So, loans, self-funding versus, looking for investment. I think when you look for investment, it's a reasonable vehicle depending on the business and the rate of return. But at some point, it's not your business. If I sell 100% of my business to you, it's not my business. If I sell 50% of my business, it's half my business. And that's not an ego thing. That just means, can I make the decisions that I think is right for the business? Do I have the control? Or do my investors, or does my board, et cetera? So really make things simple. As an example, using a creative that's in a basement in Ukraine. That's a decision I wanted to do. That's what we did, and that's it.
Wow.
And so, you have the ability to make decisions that are meaningful. But this new company is taking the idea of the new category and creating something that's higher value, not necessarily higher cost. So I came up with a metric on creating a new product, and it was cost per lumen. So I'm still doing solar, I'm still doing portable, still doing lights, still doing charging. But there was a lot of things that I wanted to work on that I was unable to based on the efficiencies that my investors wanted. And so now I'm capitalized in a way that feels comfortable to innovation. And what I've created now is a much more beautiful, substantial, durable, aesthetically pleasing light and charger.
Cool.
This light and charger is now made out of an eco-friendly material. This charger is 10,000 milliamps. There's nothing like it that's a lantern on the market, and still portable. Now, it's not inflatable because of COVID and all sorts of other stuff that can happen, right? Through your change of gas. But it is expandable and collapsible. So we kept that. We have a patent. It has some really interesting tech on the inside of it. Also, much more difficult to replicate or knock off the gray and black market.
Smart.
And even the tooling is just incredibly expensive tooling. So it's very difficult. So we are starting with NGOs and then launching for the outdoor community. We already have NGOs buying in, huge global NGOs.
Cool.
And that's how you prove the efficacy of a product.
Yeah.
You take it to the harshest environments right after a natural disaster, war-torn areas. And then you go to the outdoor community. That's how I think of it now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then you go to REI.
Right.
It's just such a nice unit. It can be sold at somewhere like West Elm. I mean, this is really different. And the price point is 8 cents a lumen. We're up to 1,000 lumens when the lantern and a full panel flashlight is on. So that's not one LED. This is a really good floodlight.
Holy cow.
And the highest run rate for the lantern alone is really 20 days. It's 120 hours, 6 hours an evening. So you imagine charging something and then something hits. You got 20 days of light.
Right. That's amazing.
And also communication for your phone, right?
Yeah,
if there's
sure.
a flood, I've seen so much, even in the US. If you're on a roof, man, your phone better not die. And you also need to contact someone, but when the helicopter comes, you might need a light with an SOS on it.
Yep.
This has everything. But I promise you, the light is aesthetically pleasing. It's porch, patio, pool, travel, camping, RV, tiny home, you name it. Like, you know, it's glamping, it's all of it. Picnics. It's everything that we wanted.
It's got that style that you guys have always had. Yeah, yeah.
It's USB-C, right? So it fits in up now. It's also more intuitive. There's one button on the flashlight side. There's one button on the lantern side. There's one port for charge in and charge out. But you could charge up to 2 iPhones on it. I mean, this thing is a monster. It's not heavy. As I said, it's waterproof, you know. So
very cool.
For me, this is an opportunity to now choose to work with the people I want to work with. Good people who really care about impact across the board. And sometimes to say no to certain opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Really keep it simple. And so everyone who I'm going to work with is a good person, cares about impact, cares about the outdoors, the outdoor community. You know, I think we've talked about that a bit offline, that maybe the outdoor industry has lost some of that as the companies get bigger and bigger. You know, this is about being one with the environment. It's not about, you know, cutting down trees and setting up like a horrible safari setup.
Well, and we've talked too, as the further along we get and go, the more urgent that's becoming.
Absolutely. You know, climate change is real. It's affecting the entire world. And it's not just affecting the environment, it's affecting the human condition. And it's about resources.
Yeah.
But we're the only species. You know, I think the funny thing I like to say is in New York, lanternflies showed up a couple of years ago. And everyone, and this is bipartisan, was like, oh, you got to kill them. They're killing all the trees. Well, what are we doing? I mean, we're the invasive species, right? I mean, who are we to decide that we should kill lanternflies? So I think it's urgent for companies in the private sector to stand up, to innovate, and to create solutions for what is a really disastrous environmental situation right now.
Yeah, it's pretty challenging.
It's urgent for the next generations.
Totally agree.
I mean, the planet will survive. It'll just take us out, and so a lot of other species. But it's urgent.
Yeah,
it's urgent.
The planet will, you know, once all of us are gone and all the species are gone, it'll go through its morphine and adjusting, and pretty soon it'll be the planet we used to know. There just won't be anybody on it, you know? I mean, maybe that could restart, could redo the whole thing. We have no idea, but...
Yeah, do we want to work in concert, or do we want to be a virus that gets exterminated? That's the question.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Or the former.
And you said you're eager to collaborate with like-minded people. What kinds of ideas or projects are you hoping to explore with others?
Thanks. So a lot of CSR and cause marketing, a lot of work with large companies, Fortune 500 companies that
And
maybe they
CSR,
have.
explain what's a CSR for those that might not know.
Thank you. Yeah, corporate social responsibility.
Perfect.
A lot of organizations have reports at the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a sort of CSR/cause marketing area that I really like and enjoy. And that's where you get a company to do good, but it really helps their loyalty or their attrition rates or their profit. So if a company, sells a product and then they also give, let's say, a delight and surprise gift with that product,
Mm-hmm.
it makes people feel safe. Let's say it's an insurance company. You buy the insurance, you get a light.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Because now that consumer is like, oh, Progressive, we'll call it, oh, they're a good company. Not only do they have my back economically, but there's a physical connection
Right.
where I have a light in case something happens.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Progressive can put their name on it, right?
Of course.
Is really where the cause marketing comes in. Because if a hurricane hits and there's pictures from a big NGO or a media station and Progressive's light is there, I mean, that does wonders for Progressive's bottom line, top line.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it's about working with, those in CSR and cause marketing that want to create impact,
Mm-hmm.
not just a CSR report. And then it's about working with the right organizations. Even though light kind of hits everywhere, light is really agnostic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you wanna find the right NGOs whose programming will benefit most from light and power.
Yeah.
And then how? Is it marine life? Is it on the land? Is it refugees, in migration to make it safer, in refugee camps? Is it disaster response? And you want to make sure what you're doing makes sense for those organizations. And once again, it goes all the way back to what we talked about in the beginning. You want to solve problems. So we can solve a problem for a big corporation. We can solve a problem for a big NGO. Great.
Right.
We're doing what we've learned that works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And for a large group of people. Yeah.
It's a large, and so there you go. That's a big opportunity. There's so many companies and so many NGOs, and especially with the cuts in the nonprofit sector,
right?
You got to sharpen your pricing. And so for us, we have very low margins for NGOs, very low. And that's, we decided we go straight to source and very good pricing, very good terms, and then pass on those savings, not say, oh, I'm going to make a gazillion on every unit. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So if at retail we're 8 cents, for NGOs in impact, we're 3.5 cents a lumen.
Wow.
So there's nothing close to it on the market, nothing globally. And so, it's just about making a difference, and it takes a village. I know it's cliche to say because we're in the sort of happiness space, but that's why I'm here with you, right? Helping get the word out.
Yeah.
It's havenlantern.com. We're launching in October.
Cool.
Come learn about us, see what we're all about. Again, it takes a village, so it's consumers too. It's everyone. Share the word, and let's brighten the world. Sorry,
I love it. Yeah. No, I love it. That's awesome. And looking at the big picture, what role do you see small innovative companies like Haven and the previous company playing in solving the climate crisis?
So I think it's more and more challenging to have a small company, but I do think working alongside larger companies, if you can build something that a larger company would take an interest in, you can do really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think ensuring, so there's a lot of tech coming out now every day. AI, if you have LinkedIn, you're getting inundated.
It's pretty overwhelming. Yeah.
It's overwhelming. With tech and digital, a lot of people come out with a product and then 2 years later, they work on their monetization strategy. I've always thought that, you got to pay for your lemons to make lemonades.
Right.
And then you got to pay for more lemons to make more lemonade. So you got to have a little bit of funding to start. And then you have to have margins that are healthy enough where you've thought through your business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing. And the smaller you are, actually, the easier it is.
Yeah.
When you have a ton of CapEx and a ton of employees and a ton of overhead, it's really hard.
Yeah.
But when you're starting out, I would say start slow, start small, work with people you trust, who trust you, and share the vision that you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't dissuade anyone from starting a small business right now. I think it's a good time to do it, especially with the job market being difficult.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you want to do something right, you got to do it yourself.
That's right.
If you have a vision and you're passionate, you think about people will tell you can't do it. Well, Michael Jordan made a career out of that. And then Kobe Bryant made a career out of the Michael Jordan idea. So, I mean, it's just, if you're passionate and work hard, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I believe
Stick to it. No, I believe it too. I think don't let anybody tell you can't, just go try it. And
hey, that's motivation.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So speaking of motivation, how do you personally stay motivated and optimistic when the challenges around us are just, sustainability and access to clean energy? Sometimes you can just look at the world and shake your head, and it's a little overwhelming. Can be.
Yeah, I'm not solving all the world's problems. That's one thing. And you have to have some faith in others coming around and figuring it out and doing well.
Mm-hmm.
In my little lane, the truth is I'm not always optimistic and happy. And there's a lot of people out there that say stay positive, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I would add, you have to try every day to stay positive. And that's where I'm at. I'm trying really hard actively to stay positive in the face of any adversity that comes my way, whether it's macro or in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a secret sauce to it. I think there's just the idea that if you can focus on doing one thing, solving one problem, and that will enable positivity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For me, any forms, little wins throughout the day are really exciting for me, and they keep me going. And I'll also add that doing anything that's impactful will make you feel better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Not everyone donates for the tax write-off, right? Some people donate because it makes them feel good,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that's why you buy someone a present.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So I think just the action of doing good can potentially help your mental state.
That's good. I think it takes some tenacity too in this day and age too. You have to realize that it's not all going to be peaches and cream, and we all go through hard stuff, and you just pick yourself up, get back out, put your helmet on, and go after it again.
That's a great point. So you're not alone. Everyone's dealing with the same stuff, and it doesn't matter who they are, who they think they are. We all got to live the same life. And,
that's right.
And everyone has similar stresses.
Yeah.
And everyone feels the world's stresses too.
Yep.
No matter who you are and what your ideology is, if you focus on the argument versus the solution, you're going to be miserable. If you focus on the solution, you're probably going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. There's always a solution, no matter how hard it seems.
Yeah, and with words.
Yeah. So finally, what's one piece of advice you could give to outdoor adventurers, entrepreneurs, business leaders, or anyone listening that wants to make their work more impactful?
I think I wouldn't have one piece of advice. I think perseverance, I think passion, resilience, maybe finding, a partner or a couple partners that share your vision, because doing things completely alone is very hard in life.
Yeah.
So, being on this podcast with you, Rick, is helpful to me, probably helpful to you.
Helpful to me too. Exactly. Yeah.
I think figuring out who's got your back, who's your ally, who shares your vision, who do you trust, especially in business. Everything's hunky-dory when people are in the ideation stage. And everyone's saying, oh, we're going to do
a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. Yeah, you're right.
Second, the first problem comes, could be a challenge. Second, the money comes in, could be a challenge.
Yeah.
So you really want people that you trust and you talk through scenarios and you share vision with. To me, that's maybe that is one thing. Maybe you want to work with people that have your back and you have theirs. Chemistry.
Yeah, a good team is, in my career, has been a really solid anchor, because you can always go back to that, whether it's the core part of the bigger group or just a tight group. Yeah. If you have that core team, that's a solid way to bounce ideas.
I'll add one thing real quick, because you outdoor podcast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to make products for the outdoors, make them environmentally, make sure your products blend, environmentally with the area that you're serving. It's just, otherwise you shouldn't be in the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
It has to go back to its roots, not just to be a B Corp and get a high score.
Yeah.
Like, what's the purpose of camping if you're ruining the campsite and no one else can go there the next time?
Yeah.
Killing off species. So that applies to all outdoor activities: hunting, fishing, camping, everything. Like, you gotta be sustainable in your approach.
100%. Yep.
Not just a word.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. As we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to say to folks as we finish?
No, thank you. I'd like to thank people for listening. Again, I'll plug it again, because, it takes a lot of folks to get a movement going, but havenlantern.com. It's a refuge. It's a place of safety. The light travel.
Great name.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We're trying to really make people feel safe and give people a tool to make their lives better, no matter who they are, where they are, under any circumstance.
Cool. Well, we'll link to that in the show notes for sure, so everybody can find it.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again, John. It's been great. I always look forward to talking with you. I look forward to seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while, so we'll be a trade show or something.
The digital thing, we got to have our own physical connection.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Well, we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, ricksays.com, where you'll find show notes and links to everything we talked about and more. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, give us a rating on Apple Podcast or spread the word and tell a friend. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week, and thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast.